All right. Well, hey, everybody, welcome to our team call tonight. My name is Natalie Schauer. If you don't know me, I'm a senior Ruby ambassador. And when I named, it took me a long time to title this call because, to be very honest with you, I don't love the word systems because I'm an Enneagram 7. If you know what that is, like, you don't like to be put in a box, you like spontaneity, you like, everything to be, just on the go as I think of it generally. But because I know this about myself, I've had to be married to my systems. I have had to really, really, really challenge myself and grow in this area. So if you are somebody that systems come naturally to you, that's amazing. And you're going to benefit from this call. If you are somebody that systems don't come naturally to you, that's definitely amazing. And you will absolutely benefit from this call tonight. Okay. So, like I said, the thought of systems terrified me for the longest time because systems sound complicated, right? It sounds like you're putting something in a box. It sounds complicated. It sounds like it's like this machine that I have to generate and go, whatever. But to be very honest with you, like systems create life, right? So, God is not a God of chaos. He's not the author of disorder. He is the author of peace, and he desires all of us to have a level of peace, right? Like a massive amount of peace, to live in peace. And so I think when we are in network marketing, sometimes it is hard to live in a place of peace because we're constantly thinking about, who can we be recruiting, and we should be doing more, and we should be talking to somebody, and we should be posting something, and we're constantly thinking about content. We're constantly, I think it's hard sometimes to turn that off and just live in a place of peace. Also, with things changing so much, it's hard to live in that place of peace. And I think a lot of us, systems and simplicity and minimalist lifestyles are scary. And I read it today and I thought this totally resonated with me. And I don't know if this resonates with you guys, but it was saying that a lot of us are scared of simplifying because we are afraid that we will become irrelevant. We won't measure up. We won't get enough done. People won't respect or appreciate us for us. We tend to wrap our identity in what we do. So we are what we do, and we're afraid that we'll miss out. Okay. And I think those spoke to me a lot, especially the one where it's like people won't respect or appreciate us for us. Like if I simplify what I'm doing, suddenly I'm not worthy of any respect for what I am doing. Okay. But here's the reality of it. When we are pursuing a life of simplicity, we are not going after, see, how did it say it? Dave Bruno said this: when we crave simplicity, we're not after an easier life. We're after life, right? So when we're looking for simplicity, when we're craving simplicity, it's because we're missing out on life. It's not necessarily that because we want an easier life or anything like that, but it's just that we want to experience life. And so Dave Bruno, if you don't know, he's an author and speaker, and he is a big advocate for the simple living movement. And so simplicity is not about being lazy. It's not about being boring. It's not about being selfish. It's none of that. It's about being smart. Fallon said it's about working smarter, not harder, right? It's about living your best life. It's about showing others that this is possible too, because if people see you not living in simplicity, they're going to assume this is something they can't do either, because I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are not looking to add very much to their plates right now. I'm going to explain why in a minute. So all these thoughts, I was talking to Kristen earlier and I was giggling. I'm like, I have 80 million thoughts going in 85 different directions. And I know there's a web that connects them all, but I need to figure out how to connect these. So hopefully I can get you guys, hopefully I can stay on task and kind of keep that web all together so y'all see where I'm going with all this. But so I'm going to tell you the hustle culture, the sleep when I'm dead, the perfectionist culture, all of that we went through. And a lot of that was the pre-pandemic, right? It was very much of a hustle, sacrifice for what you want, whatever. That's not a thing anymore. I'm going to be very honest with you. That is not a thing anymore. People are not looking for that. Okay. So there's a difference between the sacrifice that Fallon was talking about, where she created space and she created time and she made her business a priority. And then there's a different type of sacrifice that we had pre-pandemic, which was any free time that you have, you need to be working towards something. Okay. Nobody wants that anymore. To be very honest with you, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to buy into that. Nobody wants to do that. Okay. It has robbed so many of us of our peace. It's robbed us of relationships. It's robbed us of our health. And I'm going to guess it's probably cost you some business builders, right? When we've got that culture and we've got that mentality, I'm going to guess it's cost us some really good business builders. Okay. I know personally, I've had a couple really good business builders, and I even feel like I maybe have pushed them too hard or whatever. And because of that hustle sacrifice, and I didn't give them grace in the areas that I should have. And this is earlier on in my journey. I've learned a lot since then. I lost a couple really good business builders as a result. Some of them are making their way back because we're extending that arm and offering that grace again. But you have to meet people with grace, and you have to meet people where they're at and not overwhelm them and bog them down. For most of us, we're in the pursuit of peace. We're in this business because we are pursuing financial freedom. We're pursuing time freedom, right? And so if we are filling all of our time with this, that doesn't offer time freedom that we're looking for. It just doesn't. I was looking at, millionaires, right? A lot of us, let's just be honest, a lot of us would love to be millionaires someday. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We like that source of income. We want to be able to give to charities. We want to be able to give, leave a legacy for our families. We want to send our kids to college. We want to have that really good income, right? So I went, and honestly, being a millionaire is not what it used to be. Like, it's not, millionaire, it doesn't quite carry the weight that it used to. Okay. Millionaire is not, $1 million isn't what it was back in the 80s. So, talking about being a millionaire, honestly, are people that are very comfortable, that can pay for everything that they need to pay for anymore. So, most millionaires I looked at, so they have an average of 7 different streams of income. Okay. Here's the thing. Do you think that they have 7 streams of income because they keep them all complicated? No, they have 7 streams of income because they found a way to put them into a system to where they almost run themselves. They let that thing kind of run itself. They check on it here and there. They add another stream of income, and they are freed up to love people and serve people and build relationships. And so those extra streams of income that they are adding on, if somebody comes to them and said, "Hey, I got something really awesome for you. It's going to make you so much money." It's definitely going to take about 6 hours a day, though. They're going to be like, "Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. That's not the type of extra income I'm looking for right now." So here's the thing. I wanted to see what habits a lot of those millionaires have, to see what, how to pursue that level of drive and motivation. And I was kind of surprised by what I found. And a lot of it kind of goes back to keeping things simple. So the top 5 habits that they had, first of all, they took the time to build it. Okay. They weren't in a rush to build anything. They weren't trying to do it tomorrow. A lot of them are, they do want to make sure it's going as quickly as it can, but they're not in any super duper rush to build it. Okay. For savers and investors, it takes an average of 32 years to become a millionaire. For company climbers, it took an average of 22 years. 21 years for people with talent, art, skills, things like that, and 12 years for entrepreneurs. That's good news for us guys, because people are going diamond. I want to say it was an average of 7 years for diamonds, like over time or whatever. But I mean, that's really good. And that's honestly like some of the most that I've heard from people. Like, that's good news for us in Plexus. People are becoming diamonds and becoming millionaires way faster than the average of 12 years for entrepreneurs. So that's really good news for us. Number 2, they prioritize their health and they sleep at night. 93% of millionaires shared they get at least 7 hours of sleep on the low end, and they aren't hustling and grinding late into the night. They prepared their day to finish what the work they have during the day so that they can get adequate rest at night, so that they can get up and work well the next day. Number 3, they plan. Once their day starts, it's extremely organized. 81% shared that they keep a to-do list. And I thought this was interesting. 24% actually keep a to-don't list. This is things to avoid, time wasters, things that, and things that they focus on that really don't matter. Okay. So they make a to-don't list throughout their day too. Everything's prepared. Everything's planned out for them. They build strong teams and invest in them. 80% of millionaires credited their success to creating a community of positive, goal-oriented people and investing in their success. They fail often. Number 5, they fail often and they keep going. 63% said that they took calculated risks as they built their wealth, and they had failed at least once in business. They didn't let that deter them. 80% reported they are actively working toward one major goal at any given time. Nearly all of them attributed their success to staying positive and having a clear vision of their future, especially when times are tough. They did not give up. They just kept going through whatever it was. Okay. So failure, all of that did not stop them. They found a way to tweak, simplify, and keep going. All right. So pre-pandemic world. I know I touched on when I introduced the call, I said we're going to talk about what it looks like in this post-pandemic world to market. Network marketing is not the same as it was in a pre-pandemic world. If you listen to a lot of network marketing professionals, they'll tell you that it is not the same. We have to market not very differently. The fundamentals are the same of network marketing. Love people, serve people, reach out to people. You know, we still need to message people. We still need to be showing up every day, be consistent, be passionate, have major belief in what we're doing, our company, our products, ourselves, our leadership, all of that. All the fundamentals still apply, but the way that we market has to be different because the world is not the same as it was pre-pandemic. Okay, pre-pandemic world looked like this. It was crazy busy. It was how many things can I fit into my day? It was like being busy was like a badge of honor. Y'all remember that? It was like a badge of honor to be the busy mom. I've got my kids in 4 things. How many sports do you have your kid? You know, whatever. Hustle culture. It was a big movement in, you know, pre-pandemic. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Don't stop. Grind it all the time. Be constantly thinking of what you can do to better your life. Rest kind of was frowned upon. There was always something you could be doing. You needed to be all the things to all the people. You need to make sacrifices for what you want, even if it means your kids down the road. We were overworked, we were underpaid, we were wrapping our identity up into what we do, not who we are or how we love people. That was the pre-pandemic world, right? Then 2020 hit. Now, mind you, 2020 was great for Plexus, right? So we know that 2020 had some really awesome benefits for us, but I'm just talking our world as in general, you know, society in general. So the pandemic world hit, and a lot of us experienced this. It was a sudden stop. It was a force to stop and rest, forced to relax. We weren't allowed to do a lot of sports. We weren't allowed to do a lot of outings. We were not allowed to be going to work, some of us. We barely got dressed. Many of us couldn't go to work. We had to be with our families a lot. We had to rely on ourselves and not our jobs or others to do things for us. Like a lot of times we couldn't just go to a restaurant if we wanted to, if we didn't feel like cooking. Like we had to cook. We had to learn how, if the store is out of something, you need to learn how to make it yourself. We learned how to make a lot of cleaners, like home cleaners from home. We learned how to eliminate a lot of toxins because that was a big thing that was going on then. We realized what was ultimately important. We learned new skills. We tried new things. We completed projects that were long overdue. We started homeschooling our kids. We went back to simpler times. We started baking our own bread. We deep cleaned things. We realized that we could do these things and we actually found joy in them. We spent more time outside than ever before. We found our voices and we made our opinions known, even if we were one of the silent ones. And here's the big one that stuck out to me. 4.2 million women walked away from the workforce just from February 2020 to April 2020 because of the childcare crisis, losing 800 billion globally in earned income for women in 2020, which is a huge amount. Okay, that's a massive amount. Post-pandemic world. So we are now entering we're getting back. I don't want to even say back to normal because things will never be back to what it was pre-pandemic. We're entering a new normal, but it is a post-pandemic world now that we're starting to enter into. 2 million of those women that left haven't returned to work. Women's progress in terms of U.S. workforce participation has been set back by more than 3 decades. People refuse to be silent about what they believe in anymore. People aren't giving their all to their jobs anymore. They're silent quitting is what I want to say. It was Forbes that said this. Silent quitting. Silent quitting is basically before the pandemic, people were giving their all. They were pushing really hard. They were working extra hours. They were doing all these things to impress their bosses and to grow in their companies. And then the pandemic hit, and a lot of them felt like their bosses and their companies weren't there for them. They were either forcing vaccinations or not enforcing vaccinations, which everybody had an opinion on and felt threatened by. They were making people quit their jobs. They were making people show up to their jobs. And a lot of people just flat out lost their jobs. Companies weren't fighting for their people anymore. So people basically were like, well, then what am I giving my extra? What am I giving my all to? So people are showing up. They're not quitting, but they're what they're calling silent quitting, which is basically doing the minimum needed to get by so that you don't lose your job. It's crazy. Silent quitting. Sorry, I wrote so many notes, and you know me, I talk really fast. I'm trying to talk slowly. We're more virtual. We love being home. We're afraid to add anything back into our schedules because we actually really enjoy the peace and the margin that's in our schedules. We're getting more rest than ever before. We're recognizing bringing awareness to mental health now more than ever before. We're reading more than ever. We want community more than ever. We've realized that we are not robots. like we thought we were pre-pandemic, and we can't go back to living the way we were before. Anthony Klotz is an associate professor at Texas A&M. He started like a Twitter storm when he said the great resignation is coming, during the pandemic. And that started this whole big storm. And honestly, I think it's not so much about what everybody is leaving. I think it's more about what people are going towards, right? So people are realizing what they want. It's not so much that they're just quitting on everything, but they're realizing what they want and they're moving towards something. They are absolutely drawn to the life that they do want. And they are, because we have voices and because we have opinions and we're not silent anymore, we're going to make it known, and we're not going to stop until we get that. So what does this mean for us? We cannot market the same as we did before, okay? If we're marketing this hustle mentality and this sacrifice culture, this build, complicated structure, we're not catching most people anymore. That's not catching people. Honestly, who are the people that you want to collect as business builders on your team, right? It's the people that are going to become millionaires, the motivated, the driven, the excited. Those people that want to be millionaires someday, they're not looking for something that's going to take up all of their time. They're looking for something simple that they can plug into. They're motivated, they're driven, and they will do the systems and they will do them well. And they're willing to grow and learn because, again, we are reading and we are leaning into personal growth and leadership more than we ever have as a whole before. But we're not looking to take up our entire day with one thing. So here's the thing. You have to be obsessed with your systems, okay? You need to take, when you're marketing and you're posting on social media, you need to be stripping it down, getting it to the bare, don't strip it down. You know what I mean? Strip down your word and your cause, and make sure you're getting to the bare bones of what you're doing and what you're saying and what you're trying to get at. Make sure that you are keeping it simple for people, being very authentic on social media. People can see right through all of that anymore, okay? So make sure that you're authentic, keeping it simple, and getting it down to the bare bones. And that is how you're going to attract the type of people that you are looking for. You've got to be obsessed with your systems. The last thing you want to do is recruit somebody and then throw a huge ball of mess at them, right? So, hey, I finally just got this business builder. Awesome. So I'm going to give you all these things. Don't worry. You'll learn it as you go. It doesn't make sense right now, but I promise it'll make sense. I've said all of these things. Okay. So this is me learning in front of y'all. I promise this will make sense. Okay. I know I've just added you to a whole bunch of stuff, and I've introduced you to 85 people, and I've given you 40 million different ways of doing verbiage, and I've put an event on you, and I've done this at you and all this. I promise it'll make all sense. What do you want to start with? What do you want to do first? And people are going, I don't know. I did not sign up for this. I don't know. I just wanted to get my first 3 people, right? We have to keep it simple for people. We have to be obsessed with our systems. You're driven entrepreneurs who are going to work hard on your team and will be successful businessmen and women and are looking for something simple and duplicatable, that are going to start creating that passive income for you. They need something simple to plug into. That's what they are looking for. They are looking for a simple, extra added source of income. Now, mind you, we're not promising easy. There's nothing easy about this, and it will take a lot of personal growth. There are lessons to be learned, and there are things that they can learn and grow in, but it is simple, and it needs to be simple. So when do you start showing people this simple system? Okay. When do you start duplication? It's before you recruit them. Okay, because I promise you, they are watching you right now. They're watching to see what you're doing right this second. They're if they're even thinking about the opportunity, they're watching you to see how you're doing this opportunity. When you go to recruit them and you reach out to them, your first message, you should be thinking in terms of like, this is going to be their first message to their people. This is the resource they're going to be sending people. This is what they need to be saying to what, however, so you need to keep it very simple for them. By the way, this keeps it so simple for you, you guys. It keeps it simple for you. You don't have to recreate a wheel every single time you talk to somebody. And I know you're like, but I know her, and she like would definitely know that I'm just trying to sell her something. Duh, they all know you're trying to sell them something. They all know that, right? They know you're coming for them. Especially when you get in their inbox and you start talking about Plexus. They know what you're like, they know, they're not stupid. So just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Walk them through the same exact system that you walk everybody else through. Keep it simple. That way when you ask them to do the same thing that you did, they can go, that seemed pretty simple. Okay, use your third-party resources, do all of those things. You need to know how to lead yourself before you can start leading other people. So that's where I want to go into next, is how to lead yourself simply and create a simple, peaceful environment around you before you can even start leading other people. Because if you're a stressed out, chaotic, schedule lapse mess, nobody ain't gonna want to follow that. Okay. So here's some ways that you can lead yourself. Here's some things. If you're not setting office hours for yourself and you make yourself available to anyone at any time, what does that show people? That they have to be available to anyone at any time, right? And they have to work 24/7. If you're not using third party tools and you're rambling all the science and the knowledge and you're just spitting out a bunch of stuff and you send them a million-page long text about, everything that they need to know about Plexus, what does that teach them? That they need to do that same exact thing and know all of those things. If you're not adding them into team pages and introducing them to your sponsor and introducing them to the community and whatnot, for that extra level of support, what is that showing them? That's showing them that when they start to add people, they have to do that alone. There's no level of support for them either. Okay. So you have to make sure that these are systems. Okay. These are the systems I'm talking about. Setting your office hours, that is the start of you building your systems. Third party tools and resources, those are systems. Making sure that you're adding them to the team pages, all of those things, those are systems. These are all systems. Your recruiting process should be on a system, like a 5-step recruiting system. Okay. Find your system and stick with it. Taking care of yourself and being obsessed with your systems attracts strong business builders. Okay. They are attracted right now to people that are leading themselves well and are taking care of themselves and are healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, all of the things above. Okay. The people are attracted to strong leaders, and you can only be a strong leader if you are leading yourself. What does that mean on social media for us? Okay. We're going to talk about social media for a second. Pinterest. What was Pinterest pre-pandemic? How can I make the best baby shower and DIY all the things? And I want to make everything by hand. And I'm going to make everybody's dresses and send them to them ahead of time. And everyone's going to wear the same gown to this baby shower. And we're going to just make it the best baby shower ever. And we're going to just have all the things. And everywhere they look, it's just going to puke baby shower. Okay. Now, if you look at Pinterest, it's like, how do I do a baby shower in 5 minutes on a budget? How do I do the simplest baby shower? I literally need like a couple balloons, a couple cupcakes. And by the way, who does cupcakes? Because sister ain't making them. All right. That's what Pinterest is right now. Let's talk about Instagram. Pre-pandemic, Instagram was very much like your grid has to be perfect and it has to be patterned and it has to have filters and it has to have a certain palette. And you need to pick out your colors and you need to have 28 hashtags. Don't do 30 because if you do 30, that's too much. But you want to have at least 28 and you need to look at all those hashtags and you want to make sure that they are following so many, like all of those things. Okay. That was Instagram before. Now Instagram says, listen, the rawer, is that a word? The rawer and the realer that you can be on Instagram, the better. The more they're going to show your stuff to people. Even reels now, they're saying don't put covers on reels anymore. Literally just post your reel. And if your face is all squee hot, more people click on it. It's crazy. But Instagram is even getting to like, keep it simple, keep it real, keep it authentic. We don't need all the pretty stuff anymore. Okay. So that's all changing as well. The simpler, more authentic your posts are, the better. You don't have to share all the science. I'm talking Facebook, y'all. I'm talking all of it, but Facebook, I see this all the time. You don't need an entire novel on Plexus and all the science behind it and why it works for you and why it worked for your friend. And here's it. Like, you don't need all of that. You can share it. Listen, if you've got one thing where like, man, I noticed that I don't have this rash on the back of my arms. Listen, take a picture of the back of your arms with you giving a thumbs up. Y'all, no more bumps in my arms. Ask me what I've been doing. That's a post right there. And guess what? More people are going to read that and click on that than your super long thing that you've been writing out. You don't need science. You don't need all of that. You be authentic and you just share your story. And that's going to tell the people that you are attracting that that's all they have to do. They just have to be authentic and they just have to share their story. They can keep it simple. They don't need to give their entire life story. Guess what? They're going to have way more content for way more days if they break it up anyways. Don't give all the goodies all in one day. Break it up, write down some things, write down some testimonials that you've received, some things, some symptoms that have been really, whatever, I don't know. Keep it, what's the word? Compliant though. But make sure here's the thing, if you're being authentic, which is how you were feeling beforehand, and you're not sharing a bunch of scientific words, chances are you're keeping it compliant anyways. So the more authentic and real that we can keep it, the better. And the more people will read it. Also the copy paste stuff, it's great. I love that for a quick day where I'm like, listen, showing up is better than nothing at all. But to be very honest with you, most people aren't reading those anymore because most people already seen it from 3 other people that day and they're not reading it. People can smell a salesy copy paste post from a mile away. They want to know you. They want to know what you've written. They want to see your face. They want to know what Plexus is doing for you. And that's how they're going to be attracted to you and what you're doing. Keep it simple. This does not have to be complicated. Okay. It does not have to be complicated. Um, you want to know why people are burning out? People on your team are burning out. It's because we're telling them things like, and mind you, I'm going to say a lot of these things. You're going to be like, yes, we should be saying that. And yes, some of these things, they are great in moderation. So that's my disclaimer. But people are burning out because we're telling them you can work from anywhere. You can work from any time. No excuses at all. You can work from your couch. You can work from your pool. You can work on vacation. You can work on this. You can do it while and you're not giving people any permission to take a break. Okay. What you can start telling people is that they can get up and they can get ready for the day and they can feel great about themselves and they can knock out their work in an hour or two if they've got some simple systems set. And then the whole rest of the day, they can go to the pool and just hang out with their kids and they don't have to worry about taking their phone with them and making sure that they are, available for whoever wants to message them during that time. If you choose to work from your pool, by the way, again, disclaimer, that's totally different. I'm just saying sometimes the way that we word things makes people feel like they can't ever turn it off. So you have to be aware of the way that you're wording things. When you're on date night, you don't need to be updating your status. You don't need to be on date night. Oh my gosh, no, post your date night the next day. Be on your date night. Okay. So make sure that you're not sending people that message. The other reason people are burning out. Oh, and with that whole thing, setting the office hours is so important. And when I said get up and get ready and find a designated spot, for me, I found that if I'm doing Plexus in my PJs from my couch, me sitting on my PJs and my couch eventually turned into me thinking about Plexus and I could never turn it off. Where if I get up and I created a space for myself in my house and excuse me, if I get up and go to that specific space, that's where I do Plexus and that's where I do Plexus really well. And I boss babe the heck out of it when I'm here. But then the second that I walk out of this door, that's for me. That's me being on the couch and watching a movie with my baby is for me to be on the couch with my baby. The other thing too is if you are setting office hours for yourself, and Fallon touched on this, you will be way more productive if you have those set office hours for yourself. Okay. If you're just trying to do it throughout the day as you're sitting and in carpool and at the pool, that's not going to work. I know some of us have to fit it in where we can fit it in, but I'm telling you, if you can just take a chunk of time, even if all you've got at the beginning of the day is 20 minutes and just knock out a ton, I guarantee you'll have so much weight lifted off your shoulders for the rest of the day. It's going to feel so good. The other reason that they're burning out is because we're giving them 76 systems and a whole novel of all these different verbiages. And if they say yes, then say this. And if they say no, then say this. And if they say maybe, then say this. And if after you say that and they say, well, let me think about it, then say this. Like if you do all that's too much. Okay. We're giving them 48 videos that they can watch all at once. And we're, letting our upline is sending a video and we're sending that, but then we're also adding a video and then we're getting this video. It's like, listen, if your upline sends you a video to pass on to your team, keep it simple. They've done the work for you. They found the video, pass it to your team, show them what is like one focus for this week or whatever that is, and let's move on. They don't need to watch 87 videos that day. Just keep it so simple for your team. Emily put a video into our team page last week, I think it was. It was an Emily Gibson video, and we have sent it through our team. So it's that one video, and we sent it through our entire team, and it spread like wildfire. Or wildflowers, I don't know. And it has just spread, and a lot of people are just taking off with it, and it's going really well. It's the magic phrase by Emily Gibson, by the way, if you are wondering, because I know some of you will ask. If we're adding them to all these chats and putting them in so many events, and we're hosting a Healthier, Happier You event, or we're telling people to put them in the Healthier, Happier You event, and now you're gonna do your own event, and now we've got our team event, and now we've got this event. We also have our corporate event. Like, find one thing to plug them into, okay? As they move on, if they want to be added to more things and like take on more, that's fine. But in the very beginning, keep it simple. We have Healthier, Happier You for a reason. We've got events going every 2 weeks, at least once a month, that you can plug your people into that keep it simple. And that shows them that they can keep it simple and just, they can tell their people to plug it into that same group. Okay. Keep it very simple. The other reason is that we're celebrating points and rank ups and achievements, and we're not celebrating action. Okay. One thing you need to be doing with your people is talking to them about how this is a long-term business. This is not something where you're going to rank up every single month until you hit double diamond. That's just not how this company works. Okay. So you will have months where you don't rank up, and you will have months where your points go backwards, and you need to be able to celebrate and find life and joy in the midst of all of that. So make sure that you are celebrating those things with your team. Celebrate action, celebrate the fact that they did a scary reach out the other day. Like, celebrate those things. Shout that out with your, in your team chat or whatever you have going on. Like, shout out those things. Shout out people getting out of their comfort zones. Like, it doesn't always have to, yes, we absolutely have to shout out rank ups, but that should just be, icing on the cake to everything else that they've been doing that month. Okay. Celebrate them at every level. It's because we're pouring, another reason, we're pouring belief into them, but not at their level. Okay. When we're constantly saying things like, and by the way, these are not bad things. I'm just saying these are things you need to add in with it. You are totally going to be a diamond someday, girl. You have like the drive, like you're going to be a diamond someday. You're going to be a jewel. You're going to be in Hawaii with us. I believe it. I know it. And you're going to be leading thousands of people. These are great things to say. However, you're missing the simplicity of the now. And you need to be pouring belief into them about things that they can hit right now so that they start to believe you when you're still pouring that bigger belief into them. Things like, oh my gosh, I just saw your post. And girl, I'm going to tell you that post was so good. You're going to be somebody that people want to steal your post. I guarantee you. Keep posting like that. And I bet you in a month or two, people are going to start sharing your posts. You're going to be someone that people want to share your posts. And guess what? When someone shares their posts, you go celebrate that. And oh my gosh, that's a belief that you just unlocked in them. And now you can take it to the next level. Oh, I love what you shared on book club last week. I loved hearing you talk. I loved hearing you speak up. What you have brings so much value to the team. I know that you're going to be leading a book club someday. I know it. I know that you have so much leadership. Like, you're going to be leading a book club someday. These are small little things that are achievable sooner than later, that you can pour belief into them and they can start collecting that belief along the way. Okay. These are like belief breadcrumbs that you can leave for them, so that when you start talking big vision and big belief, they're going to believe you because you've already called out these things in them before, and now they're achieving them and they're excited about them and they're starting to see the results of that. So make sure that you are not missing the simplicity of the now when you're pouring belief into people. Like I said, you've got to be obsessed with your systems. Emily Gibson, I love her for systems. She's very good. If you get her on YouTube, she has a ton of different systems on there, like 5 steps for recruiting and 5 steps to making a silver, and it's like just simple steps. And here's the thing, you have to find a system that works for you. Not everybody's system is going to work for everybody, so keep that in mind. Okay, you find a system that works for you and your team, that's going to be simple, that will duplicate well. I'm sorry, I'm going to wrap up really fast. I have a lot. I'm not a lot, but I have a few things I want to get through. So I know a lot of you guys are like in stagnant water right now, and you're like, this is all great, but listen. And I was talking to Kristen earlier on our coaching call, and I was saying, like, how when you're in a pool, in a circular pool, and you can like go, round and round in the pool, and you start to create this whirlpool, and eventually like that whirlpool just starts to carry you, and you just kind of keep going. And as long as you keep walking, and the walking gets easier, it eventually starts to carry you, but that walking gets easier and it starts to kind of like really, and you get into a really good groove. That's going to keep going. But the second that you kind of stop walking and you stop doing it, eventually that whirlpool slows down, right? And it's going to slow down. A lot of it, this is what our businesses do. I know mine's done this many times. Starts to slow down a little bit. And then in order to get it going, now we've almost created resistance. So now in order for us to get that going again, there's almost that little bit of resistance to get it started again. And so a lot of us are in that season right now in our businesses. We're like, yeah, this is great and all, and that's awesome, but I literally have nothing to work with right now, Natalie. Thanks for that. And I just feel nothing but resistance right now. I don't even know who to reach out to right now, because I've just hit this wall, because I am a senior gold, and goodness gracious, I've talked to every single person in the world and nobody wants Plexus. Okay, we've all been there. It's okay, we've all been there. So how do we start to stir the whirlpool and create momentum? First, you have to recognize that there will be resistance, and you just have to push through the resistance. Okay, you got to push through that resistance. And when you start really leaning into it, sorry, I giggled at Ashley. Are you talking about me? When you start, I know a lot of you, I was talking about me too as a senior gold. I feel like everybody hits this place where you're just not specifically senior gold, but you just hit a place where you're like, oh, I don't know where to go from here. So in order to push through that resistance, you have to recognize there's resistance. You have to recognize it for what it is and be willing to push through it, because you do know that once you get it stirring, it will start to keep you going. Okay. So first, I'm going to give you a few mindset things and a few tactical things, and we're going to jump off. First of all, you got to switch your mindset and lead yourself. Number one, practice the power of the pause. Okay. The power of the pause is you finding little times in your day to where you can get up and pause and like clear your head. It might be going outside and what they call grounding, just sticking your toes in the grass and just breathing in some fresh air and being in the sun or whatever, and just like looking around you. Grounding is they talk about it in psychology with like anxiety and stuff. When you're grounding, you basically, what am I smelling right now? What am I looking at right now? What am I feeling right now? What am I feeling? Like it's basically just concentrating on the world around you. Okay. That's going to help. That's a huge factor for the power of the pause. Have a cup of tea at night. Okay. And put everything away. If you followed me for a while, you know, I'm a big advocate, especially lately, for putting your phone away at night. That's a huge pause. Put your phone away at the end of the night. If you go and just, if you're in your office and you just need a break, go look out the window for a little bit. Just get up, stretch, go look out the window. Like, find some pauses that you can do in your day to where you can breathe and kind of take in the world around you and not think about anything except just where you are in that moment, and the breeze in your hair and the sun on your face or whatever it is. The other one is number two is choose joy over comparison. And this is a big one. Okay. This, I'm telling you, this is a big one for me too. We all have a level of comparison that we practice, and you got to throw that out the window. You cannot compare points and growth rates. Okay. You can't, you can't compare that, because everybody's at a different level. Everybody's got different stories. Everyone's got different networks. Everyone's got different things they have to break through. So you just can't even compare points and growth rates. You can't compare posts. Okay. This is another reason that you should probably be posting before you start scrolling on Facebook. Okay. You cannot compare posts. This is stuff that you don't even need to do. Don't go reading everybody else's posts to give you post ideas. That just leads to comparison. It leads to other people's thoughts and ideas, and it leads to inauthenticity in your posting. So post first. Okay. Don't compare posts. This was a funny one, but I put it in here. Like, we don't need to compare bank accounts, right? So it's really easy to like look at somebody and kind of judge them for what they're wearing, because that shirt is a really expensive shirt, and I know that. Well, that's you comparing yourself to them because maybe you can't afford that shirt right now or whatever. So just whatever people are spending or whatever they're doing, that is up to them. That has no bearing on you and your joy whatsoever. Children and homeschooling. Okay. I know this is a big one too. Like, oh my gosh, well, she's a homeschooling mom and she's got 8 kids and she's doing this, and I should be able to, like, that's comparison right there. Even if you're just trying to give yourself like, well, she did it this way, and you know, I can't seem to, like, that's comparison. Get that out of there, because comparison rids you of your joy, and that her homeschooling her kids has nothing to do with you. You lead 2 completely different lives. Okay. 2 different lives, and you are doing what works for you and your family. Keep in mind your chapter. So we all have the same book, right? But your chapter 3 might be a really, really, really painfully long chapter 3. And her chapters 1 through 5 might have gone really, really, really quick. Okay. But guess what? You don't know what, if you just keep going through this book, you don't know that your 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10 might be super fast. Okay. You have no idea what's in the rest of that. So you just need to push through, keep going. Do not compare your chapter with their chapter, even if you're in the same chapter. Okay. Listen, there are some people that started after me that are going to Hawaii this week, and I'm not. Okay. Let's just call it it is. I'm not going to Hawaii this week. And there are some people that started after me that are. Now, if I was to say that there weren't times where the comparison tried to creep in a little bit and I like allowed myself to get down on myself for that, I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't compare that a little bit. But here's the thing. I had to come to a place, and I can honestly say 100% that I'm at that place. You know, I had to pray about it, talk to David about it, whatever, last month when I didn't hit that rank that I needed to go to Hawaii. And I just told David, I said, you know what? Whether I go to Hawaii this year or not was not my ultimate goal. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to build a strong business with a strong legacy that I can leave for my kids, and to be a diamond someday on my time and my journey and what works for me. Okay. So I've let that go, and I've let joy chase me as a result of that. Okay. I have so much joy, and now I'm excited to watch everybody in Hawaii and see their pictures and whatever. And guess what? There's been a lot of times where I've seen these and I'm like, oh, it feels like a knife in my heart. But guess what? I really don't think I'm going to think that at all this week. I'm very excited for all of my friends who got to make it to Hawaii this week. Comparison will rob your joy. I'm telling you that. I have so much joy going into this week because I know that my story is not done, and I know that I'm going to keep pushing through. Next, the tactical things. All right. Oh no, last one. Sorry, the other mindset. Number 3, create your love list. So this is dream. Okay. Just take a pen and paper and just start writing. Just start dreaming. This is not for you to show anybody else. This is literally just for you and your secret place between you and God. Maybe your husband if you want to. I don't care. But like, this is just for you to dream your crazy, crazy, crazy dreams, whether it is that you want to have pink hair and go-go boots and dancing on stage behind NSYNC someday. I don't care what it is. Like whatever your crazy dreams are, you go through and you just start writing. Okay. Just start writing whatever that is, and don't put a filter on it. Don't do any of that. You just go through and you start writing and you create that love list. It might be that you want to start volunteering 5 hours a week. It might be that you want to live on a farm, and it's this big gorgeous farm on acreage with raised garden beds and this gorgeous pool, and you have the biggest Christmas parties there, and you have horse stables, but you hire Emily Gernot to come and train them for you and do all the things because you don't want to have to do that. And you have people that just take care of all the things that you don't want to do, but you want to have the farm. Not that that's my dream or anything. Yes, this is my dream. Anyways, so just write that dream out and make sure that it is you, raw and real, deep down inside, that it's everything you ever want. And then take that and put it somewhere where you can see it every single day. Okay. That love list, like I said, this will lead to your why and it will lead to your vision, all that. But sometimes I think when you share your why with other people, whether they tell you not to hold back or not, you do. So I want you to just write it down. This is just for you to put somewhere to where you can just see it every day and you can dream big on it. All right. So you have to plan tactical things. I'm going to go through them quick. Every single month, reset and start over. You need to be starting your business over essentially every single month, whether you are a silver, whether you are a diamond, whether you are a diamond, emerald, whatever. Like every single month, go through and write down your Frank's list all over again. Okay. I know a lot of us feel like we don't know who to talk to. We don't know where to start. We don't know where we're going. Here's the thing. I'm going to take a book out, or a chapter, page, whatever, out of Ashley Heron's book and just kind of pat her on the back because she is blowing it up this month. And when I know Kristen asked her like what she's doing, she's actually going through Healthier, Happier You and looking at everybody that she's ever added to Healthier, Happier You. And she's going and generating new conversations. She's going to old groups. She's like, there's conversations that you started that you never finished. Can I say that? There's conversations that you have started that you've never finished. I promise you. Ashley Heron, I think, has talked to more people than anyone I've ever talked to. And she is even finding people and finding conversations that she never finished. Okay. So go through old groups, go through old notebooks, go through old events, go through all of that stuff. Go through your friends list again. If you feel like you've exhausted it, you probably haven't. I think a lot of times we run through the fields and we're looking for for the harvest. We're like, you're not ready. And then we just keep going and we never come back through that field to check on it again. Go back again. Okay. Don't get caught up in the brand new reach out, follow up, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't get caught up in that. Okay. We talked about this in my team call. There's like the heart of the law and there's the letter of the law. And the letter of the law says you have to do that. But the heart of the law is that it's to get joins and create like business builders, right? So however you need to make that happen, you make that happen. Okay. Go back through old people, follow up again. All right. The next thing is to create a weekly to-do list and a weekly to-don't list. Okay. Every week I go through either Sunday night or Monday morning and I make that list. And then I take that 100 people and I break it into 5 or 6 or whatever for that week. And I already know who I'm reaching out to. I know all of that for the week. The next thing is, write out your 5 steps to recruiting with specific third-party tools and verbiage to share with new people. This will make it easy to duplicate with new business builders. Make sure everyone's in a 3-way chat with your sponsor this week. Send a silly Snapchat or a funny gift just to resurrect conversations. Okay. You can just do something funny. Hey, just was thinking about you today, whatever. And then like do a funny little, like, the little gift where they're like, or whatever, just something just to kind of resurrect conversations and make it fun. And then the last thing is, my notes just got all mixed up. On that note, make sure that you buy a planner, okay, and go through and schedule those things out. The thing about planners is they tried to get all fancy with them pre-pandemic. Now, y'all, this is the kind of planner I'm looking for. I'm looking for no fluff. I'm looking for nothing crazy. I'm looking for literally like, I need days and lines. That's all I need, y'all. Just give me days and lines. That's what keeps me simple. I don't need you to ask me my vision and my goals and my dreams and every single day. I need days and lines. That's what I need. Keep it simple. All right. So get yourself a simple planner if you need to, and make sure that you go through and write out everybody in your back office. Give them a once a month, okay? A once a month reach out and go through your entire planner for the year. So every day you know exactly who you're reaching out to in your back office. And then do the same thing with relational stuff too. Make sure you're getting a relational touch with them as well. So there's some practical things that you can do. And I promise those things will start to stir up some momentum. I'm sure there's a lot more that you personally, but as in general, all of us, no matter where we are, can do those things, and it'll start to stir up some momentum. Okay. Go watch Emily Gibson's video on the magic phrase. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's making a huge wave on our team. And you guys are awesome. I love you. I'm so sorry I went over. In my defense, I started a little late. I love y'all. Have a good night. And let me know if you guys have any questions.